energy forecast for Friday, November 22nd. Okay, so the moon in Leo energy. We're going to go void, of course, at 8:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to shift into Virgo energy at 6:01 p.m., which means that we have the majority of the day with the moon void, of course. That's a very long time for the moon to be void. And when the moon is void, things get shaky, things get unstable, things get uncertain. We kind of lose our grip on some of the things that we were pretty sure about. It definitely triggers and activates some not so nice thoughts and emotions. And of course, the transition from Leo energy, the heart space, into Virgo energy, again, Mercury ruled, so the head space, definitely brings us down a couple of pegs. Now, the Virgo energy means that we are focused on the problems in order to fix them. It means that we are analyzing our lives, seeing where it is that we can make improvements. We are definitely focused on the smaller details of life, especially the smaller details of why we feel the way that we do, which is a very vast contrast to Sagittarius season that we are now in, the very first full day of Sag energy, because Sagittarius season focuses in on the big picture. We're really not concerned with the finer details, where the moon in Virgo is going to be consumed with the smaller details and having a hard time even focusing on the big picture because we're tunnel visioned on the finer details that are needed to make up the greater, grander whole. Not to mention, we are going to have our last quarter moon pop off in this Virgo energy. And of course, the last quarter moon is a crisis point. It's an intensity point where we are looking back, especially over the course of this last month, this last lunar cycle. We are starting to realize what isn't working. We're starting to realize what we have to eliminate, what we have to remove in order to be a lighter version of self for the new moon in Sagittarius that, of course, we will be having as soon as we move into December. So today is going to be a little bit of a mixed bag. A lot of that is because, of course, with the aspects taking place while the moon is still in Leo, we're bold, we're brave, we're courageous. We want that attention. We want to be seen. We want to be heard. And then the moon is going to go void, and we spend that huge chunk of the day sitting in that void, kind of questioning some of the ideas, some of the emotions, some of the situations and circumstances that we thought we were sure about. And then we shift into that Virgo energy. Everything becomes a little bit more heavy, a little bit more weighted. And again, we're more oriented to focusing in on the problems just so that we can fix them, heal them, repair them. And then boom, the intensity of the last quarter moon definitely puts us in a little bit of a serious, more somber funk, little bit of a more tunnel vision mood and attitude. And of course, out of that trigger, out of that activation of realizing what isn't working and what we have to eliminate, we come up with a plan, with a strategy on what needs to be done in order to lighten the load, so to speak. So with all of that being said, there are 10 different aspects taking place here today. 9 of them are going to involve the moon. The moon, while still very much in this Leo energy, going to make a beautiful interaction with Neptune, who of course is retrograde in his rulership in this Pisces energy. I love this because it means that emotionally speaking, we're connecting to our higher selves. We're connecting to our heart space. We are visualizing what we want, what we need, what we desire, what we fantasize about. And of course, as long as there is an emotion to back up that vision, we've already checked off the first 2 boxes of the manifesting equation. I love this because it kind of refreshes our soul and our spirit. It reminds us why we're doing what we're doing. It renews us in our hopes, in our wishes, in our faith that we have what it takes to do what needs to be done and that we will achieve the goal, the vision, the dreams that, of course, is now very strong in our heart space, leading us down a brand new path. The moon in Leo energy then going to trine, which is a beautiful interaction with Mercury. Mercury is the ruler of our mental plane, ruler of information, communication, how it is that we express ourselves. Of course, he is in his pre-retrograde shadow period, so we are kind of slowing things down. The closer that we get to the 25th, we are definitely going to notice a little bit of a lag, if you will, in our mental processing. a little bit of a blip, if you will, in our communications, in our exchanges with other people. And we are definitely going to feel the drawback, reflecting back how it is that we got here. Some of the ideas that we had when Mercury first moved into this Sagittarius energy, some of those big plans, big ideas, we have to look at those particular, wants, needs, and desires. And now that we've gone through Scorpio season, now that we are essentially this new version of self, we have to see if we're still in alignment with what we were once excited about. Again, going to recommend, if you have your November energy guide available to you, to flip back to when Mercury first moved into this Sagittarius energy. We were supposed to capture the topics and themes, the ideas, the plans, the interactions in which we were having, because we knew we were going to have to revisit them once Mercury actually retrograded. So here we have our heart space, the moon, and our head space, Mercury, working together in fire energy. And we love fire energy because it helps us to kind of, dry off from the emotion, dry off from a lot of the heaviness, the weight, the funk, the junk that we carry throughout Scorpio season. It helps us to burn through the cords of attachment to the past, to those limiting thoughts, those limiting feelings that, of course, have had us trapped in being able to actually break away from the past and move on and move forward. That fire energy brings a spark, a new creative energy, a new passion, a new desire. And we are definitely starting to get heart and head aligned in order to kind of formulate the plan that we now have to move on, to move forward, to pursue new passions, new dreams, new desires. We have Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, money, in this Capricorn energy, thinking about the long term, sextiling, beautiful interaction with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, who rules over the Capricorn energy that Venus is currently in. Saturn is now direct in Pisces energy. And Pisces energy, of course, is very dreamy, very spiritual, very intuitive, very creative. The Capricorn energy, kind of more business than anything else. We don't really want to allow ourselves to move too far off into la la land because there's things that need to be done. The to-do list is growing. And Venus, of course, she's trying to think about the long term as far as her happiness goes, her safety, security, stability goes, her relationships go, her money matters go. We are looking at our day-to-day lives in this present moment and trying to figure out what we could kind of sacrifice in the short term in order to guarantee our long-term success, our long-term happiness, our long-term safety, stability, and security. So this is a sextile, which means that this is a good interaction. We love water, Pisces, and earth, Capricorn, working together because when you water earth, something grows. And because Saturn kind of brings a little bit more of a realistic point of view, a little bit of a reality check. It's not a harsh one because this is a positive interaction. What it's going to help us do is get organized in our heart space, in our emotions, in our values, in our priorities. Again, we are taking stock, taking inventory of what is working, what isn't under this, present energy, these present circumstances. And in identifying what isn't working, again, becoming a little bit more organized with the plan, with the strategy on how we're going to eliminate, release some of these aspects. Of course, in order to expose a new clean slate, a new space for us to start building towards something new, building towards what's going to make our day-to-day life flow a little bit easier, make it feel a little bit more organized, make it feel a little bit more structured, bringing in happiness, bringing in joy so that it's just not something that happens on an off occasion. It's something that we can create in our everyday lives. This is also going to help us get organized with our wants, needs, and desires, where relationships are concerned, where money matters are concerned, and really give us a realistic approach to what we have to do to, again, close the door on the past and, again, start building a strong enough foundation, a strong enough structure to house these new goals, visions, and dreams that, again, we're still just trying to piece together. We're starting to realize what needs to be done. We have the moon in Leo energy, getting into the boxing ring, squaring off with Uranus. Uranus, the Great Awakener, is retrograde in Taurus energy, trying to show us where it is that, again, we're still holding on to the past, where it is that we're still deeply connected and attached to People, places, and things that we've already built, that we've already created, that we've already brought to life based off of the old version of self, wants, needs, and desires. That again, new version of self, we've outgrown it. We don't resonate with it anymore, but for some reason, we're still holding on. Now, the moon getting into the boxing ring with Uranus is going to highlight the growing pains. And because the moon in Leo is, yes, very present, but also very futuristically focused, there is this clash, if you will, where we feel bold, brave, courageous enough to do what we need to do to break away from the old, to actually pursue this new. However, Uranus still is kind of focused on why we have this deep-seated connection to continue to hold on to things, to people, places, and things that, again, don't even fit into our present day picture, let alone our futuristic picture as well. So although there is this realization, who and what needs to stay needs to go, we aren't really in a position to do a whole lot about it at this particular juncture. This is going to create a little bit of confusion. This is going to create a little bit of tension, a little bit of anxiety, because our heart knows what needs to be done, but physically speaking, we're not really ready to do what needs to be done. This is the very last aspect that the moon in Leo is going to make before going void, of course. And again, 8:15 a.m., the moon is going void. 12:31 p.m., we have the moon still in this Leo energy, but now kind of shaky, now unstable because we're in this void, making a harsh interaction to Neptune. So we started the day off with an interaction with Neptune, but it was a positive one, and we were really building ourselves up. We were very sure about what it is that we needed to do, what it is that we wanted to pursue, and we were feeling pretty confident that we were able to do all of those things. Of course, now that the moon is void, we're not so sure. We're questioning things. We're revisiting a lot of the ideas, a lot of the visions, a lot of the goals and dreams that we were excited to kind of pursue earlier on in the day. Now we're making up excuses. Now we're so overwhelmed with what needs to be done that we're starting to shut down. We're kind of checking out, if you will. We don't want to deal with life. We just want to live in our imaginary bubble where, again, everything is tickety-boo and the hard things have already been done. We have 2:16 p.m., the moon interacting with Venus in not the nicest way. So again, earlier on in the day, we were feeling pretty good, feeling pretty confident. We were well organized in our heart space with our emotions. We knew what needed to be done. We knew, again, short-term sacrifice for long-term gains. At this particular juncture, in this particular interaction, we're all over the place. We're overwhelmed. We're highly sensitive. We're questioning whether or not we can do the things that we know that need to be done. We're questioning, again, whether or not our goal or vision or dream for our future self is the appropriate, let's call it, situation that we want to manifest for ourselves. We're really questioning everything, and we're picking ourselves apart. We're beating ourselves up. We're breaking ourselves down. Now at 4 p.m., we do get a little bit of a lucky break here because the moon, yes, void, but still in this Leo energy, is going to make a positive interaction with the North Node in Aries energy. And that North Node is trying to get us on the right path, trying to get us in alignment with our soul's mission, with our soul's potential. And of course, this is just a reassurance for us that guess what? Yeah, it may be confusing. It may be a little bit scary, but that's what growth is. That's what evolving is. It comes with a little bit of an insecure, uncertain price tag. And so this is us kind of building ourselves back up again, reassuring to us that guess what? Just because we're overwhelmed, just because we're a little bit uncertain, just because we're a little bit scared, doesn't mean that we don't feel called to pursue what needs to be done. We're understanding the options, the opportunities that we have available to us at this juncture, going to require us to boss up. We're a new version of self. We know it's going to be different. We're leaving our comfort zone, but that doesn't mean that we need to curl up in a ball in a state of paralysis and just do nothing. So this is us, again, tapping into the last little bit of this Leo energy, really seeing where it is that we have to boss up, be bold, be brave, be courageous enough to at least look at this new adventure, this new quest, this new path, this new direction with excitement instead of fear. Again, 6:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the moon is shifting into Virgo energy. About 6 minutes later, we have the moon in this Virgo energy making a very harsh interaction with Pluto. Pluto being the great transformer. Of course, he's now in Aquarius energy. And just a side note, for the last, I'm going to say 3-4 months, we have been experiencing the moon and any other planet reaching the final degrees, making some sort of interaction with Pluto because he was at the final degree of that Capricorn energy. Now he's at a 0 degree in Aquarius energy, which means that when the moon shifts into a new sign, we're going to have an interaction of some sort with Pluto. When another planet moves out of one sign and into the other, we are going to have some interaction with Pluto. So the moon now in Virgo energy making this harsh interaction with Pluto. And let me also just say, we usually like Plutonian energy and Virgo energy working together. Why? Because Pluto helps us to do a deep dive in our psyche to examine the conditioning, the programming of our psyche in order to understand where it is that we have to flip the script and kind of build ourselves up in a better way, especially where inner dialogues and inner narratives are concerned, in order to empower us. That Virgo energy, again, is Mercury ruled, so it's the lower level of our intellect, the working side of our intellect, if you will. The Virgo energy wants to focus on the problem in order to fix it, heal it, repair it. We usually like Plutonian energy and Virgo energy working together, but because Pluto is now in a new sign and we haven't really had these interactions before, it's going to take a little bit of time to kind of get used to this. So the harshness of this interaction is going to show us where it is that, again, Pluto in this Aquarius energy, we are looking for progress. We are very futuristically focused. We are very focused on, kind of breaking away from those old constructs, breaking away from the same old, same old. The moon in Virgo, though, emotionally speaking, again, immediately focused on where we're feeling uncomfortable, where we're not feeling safe and secure, where we're feeling disorganized in our inner realm. And because the Virgo energy wants to focus on the smaller little details that make us feel this way, the Plutonian energy in Aquarius is trying to kind of get us into a new level of awareness, push us into the observer mode in order for us to see the bigger, greater, grander picture. So there's a little bit of an intensity going to take over our mental plane with some not so nice thoughts. There's going to be an intensity taking over our heart space, creating not so nice feelings. But again, we have a lot to learn from the not so nice thoughts and feelings because that's going to illuminate what needs to change, what needs our attention, what isn't working with us, what isn't in resonance with our new vibration and frequency, and therefore what needs our time, energy, and attention to be fixed, to be healed, to be repaired, to be resolved. Now, the moon in Virgo energy going to make a positive interaction with Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, blessings. He is retrograde, so inner reflection, in Gemini energy. Now, Virgo energy and Gemini energy, they have something in common, which is Mercury rules over them both. Mercury rules over the Virgo energy, meaning whatever it is that we allow to kind of consume our mental plane is what we manifest here in the physical form. While Mercury ruling over the Gemini energy is very cerebral. We kind of get lost in our thoughts and we kind of disconnect from the physical realm. We don't have that issue with the Virgo energy because it is an earth sign. And so Jupiter being aspected in the most positive of ways, he brings the optimism, he brings the confidence, he brings the life lessons, he brings the silver linings, he brings the hype. He is basically illuminating, magnifying where it is that we have a beautiful opportunity now to grow, to change our perspective, to change our inner dialogue, to change our thoughts, to change our attention, again, what we're focused on in our mental plane, in order to create something better in our physical realm. So emotionally speaking, we're actually kind of, focused on the ability that we now have to flip the script in our mental plane and therefore flip the script in our emotions and get those two on the same page so that, again, we can grow. We can kind of move into this new learning chapter with confidence, with the clarity that we need to understand that, yes, we may be moving out of our comfort zones, but that is needed in order for us to grow and evolve. 8:28 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the moon in this Virgo energy going to get into the boxing ring, square off with the sun now in Sagittarius energy. And this is what gives us our last quarter moon. So of course, anytime that the sun and the moon are coming together, there's going to be an aha moment. There's going to be an emotional awareness of what we need to do, what we need to pursue, what we want, need, and desire. Now, granted, this is a square. It's going to highlight growing pains. So we're going to learn this the hard way because, of course, the sun in Sagittarius energy, again, biting off way more than we can chew, kind of bringing us to this particular point where we are focused on the futuristic end goal, that big, bright, shiny future that we want to end up in. And that's great. We want to lean into that. We want to renew our hopes, our wishes, our dreams. But the Virgo energy realizes that in order to actually get to that greater, grander picture, that goal, that dream, that vision, that target, it's essential that we have power and control over our present moment. There are so many smaller puzzle pieces that need to kind of stack together and snap together in order to actually reveal the potential of us being able to achieve this futuristic goal, vision, and dream. So emotionally speaking, we're caught up on the finer details. We're caught up on what needs to be done. We have a huge sense of accountability, of responsibility in this present moment to clean up the aspects of the past, to double down on what we have power and control over in this present moment to set us up for this great grand vision that, of course, the sun in Sag is illuminating for us. So the disconnect here is the sun shining in the Sag energy is illuminating the end goal. But the moon in this Virgo energy is focused on all of the to-do list items that are actually going to set us up to achieve this long-term goal, vision, and dream that looks really good at this particular juncture because it's shiny, it's bright, it's new. But when you get down to the nitty-gritty of how it is that we're going to bridge the gap from where it is that we're at to where it is that we desire to be, there's a lot more stress. There's a lot more things to think about. There's a lot more things for us to do.